Interesting day. Not exactly a nice day for crypto. It ain't that bad, but well. Bitcoin's taken a tumble to the downside. Powell's really put a stir in the works, and it's probably because the Fed might be projecting that Trump's policies are probably going to increase inflation. So let's look at it. Stock market at all-time high. Even JP Morgan or Morgan Stanley are turning around saying that maybe the 6,100 region for the S&P is the cap. Is that it? No 100K Bitcoin? Is it a possibility? Well, it's all down to what other news could come out that could really change it all up. So we're going to break it all down, ladies and gentlemen. I'm shattered today. I don't know why. I've just been tired lately. But you didn't need to know that. Never mind. So let's get with the program. And let's understand exactly what is the dealio. Those of you who know? No. Here we go. So today, unemployment claims come down. The Fed's got every reason to not worry about the unemployment rate as such. You got the core PPI coming up, and then the PPI month on month coming in at 0.2%. We know this, Tino. What does it all mean? Well, it means this. Powell says there's no need to hurry to rate cuts. What? Strong economy. Yeah. It really baffles me. Here's your strong economy. What did we say about the yields, man? I mean, I'm looking at... Oh, shoot. Dollar dominance. The bonds. If I would listen, let me explain to you, right? The Federal Reserve says one thing, the market says another, right? The Federal Reserve tells us what they plan to do to money, and the market tells you what they're doing with it, right? From this thing right here, doesn't look like they're doing too much. When the bonds are down and the yields are up, there's a problem. It means that foreign investors are not seeking US debt. They're not, because the bonds will be going up if they were. That means foreign investors think that the US is a risk. That means foreign investors think Trump's policies are going to be terrible. Who are... Look at this. Check this out. One of the two nations that are impacted by the dollar, or should I say both these nations are impacted aggressively on the dollar. So China's going to get some tariffs, all right? And they're the second largest holder of US debt. Japan is also the main holder of United States debt. So what does this tell us? The reason I'm laughing, because it's a joke, man. You know, it was last week that they said that we really want to increase our S&P rating to go beyond 6,100. Now they're saying it's the cap. Okay, wait there. Right. So Japan buys the most US debt, right? So does China. The tariffs are going to be put onto China. Well, if China and Japan are meant to be the big buyers of US debt, well, instead of buying it, what are they doing? They're sitting and they're waiting. Well, if other guys ain't buying it, and I'm talking like, look at these guys down here, like these guys, they're not really market movers. I mean, the UK's there with the yellow getting ready to try and cut up against China, but no one's buying, which is good news for China and Japan. Because as much as they're sticking it to them and saying, right, that's it, you're going to get some tariffs on anything that you import over to us. China turns around and says, all right, that's cool, man. You keep paying us those beautiful yields that you've got advertised over there. your 4.35 on a 2-year, and then you've got 4.45 on a 10-year, and then give us some more flavor on the 4.6 of the 30-year as well. As much as this might impact the markets overall, what I'm trying to say to you all is, could this possibly be the peak? I've been waiting for a market crash to unfold. Could this be the reason? With Powell turning around saying that he's not actually in a hurry to cut the interest rates. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, I do need to announce something. We've got some sad news coming into the state of cryptocurrency. And please, just put your hand on your heart and just please empathize with this right here. He's off. Damn. The shiny egg will be vacating. He hasn't actually declared it, but in his comment, it did say, it's been a great honor to serve with them doing the people's work. Yes, screwing crypto is doing the people's work and ensuring that our capital markets remain the best in the world. Shut up, man. When he says the capital markets are the best in the world, it means that the entity that the SEC is of course, one of the greatest, biggest fraudulent places to go and tax everyone when they think something's going wrong and they just take money off them. What a great thing. Hold on. You shouldn't be doing that. Pay me. You shouldn't be doing that either. Pay me. What about that? Yeah, we don't like that. We can't really fine them. Well, no, you can. Just take the money. That's the purpose of the capital markets. Redistribution. So what does it mean for cryptocurrency? Bitcoin is taking a little bit of a pullback to the downside. I mean, you look at the S&P right now and you think, is that it? I mean, what news could come out that could really say, okay, it's going to keep on going up? Like, let's have a look. The economy is strong. So next week's data, it's all going to be about the unemployment claims, the manufacturing sector, and the core retailers. And that's it. Flash manufacturing data. That is it. So from now until the next Fed meeting, we're going to be hearing about whether or not the Fed is going to be cutting the interest rates or not. They're not in a hurry. What are you talking about, man? Yesterday's articles were saying that we're going to get a cut in December. But again, going over to the yields, when you see the yields going up, that's going to be a problem for the stock market. And we don't want the yield to invert. We really don't want people to earn more on the 2-year than we do on the 10-year. That is going to be a massive problem, ladies and gentlemen. And then we will be going into the second attempt at recession. I think the US economy is the only economy that probes recession, doesn't actually go into it, and then tries it again, but it might get burnt this time. They're all going to blame Trump. I'm telling you now, they're going to blame him for his tariffs and say that you forced the US into a recession. I mean, how fitting would it be? We've been expanding for 60 months. Of course, we're going to need to see a bit of a pullback. What are your thoughts on that, ladies and gentlemen? What are your thoughts? Can they cut them without inflation? They need to cut. We know that. But can they, or are they scared for inflation? Well, they've got to work out what's going to create inflation. Low unemployment, that effectively means more people out working. That means more people out there spending money. If there's any tensions overseas, that would then say, you know what, let's try and, let's cause a bit of a war over here. I mean, it looks like the wars are going to probably calm down right now until the next one carries on. I mean, the only next real war that could happen is China and Taiwan. If China decides to invade over there, which is very unlikely now that Trump's in power, and then you've got the tariffs, I think China's going to turn around and say, we don't give a damn about what you think or what you're going to try and do. As long as you're paying us a yield on holding your debt, then it doesn't matter what you do to us, because China's economy is still slump. Oil's prices are just going down because China's not consuming any of it. And if China, which is deemed as the world's factory, isn't consuming oil, the economies don't really move. And that's what Trump's effectively trying to do, is trying to get everything made in-house in the US. But we say that US has got China by the throat and what have you. Can't even say it. But they've also got the US at the throat, because if no one is going to seek the bonds, and the biggest purchasers of bonds is Japan and China, then that means that the yields are going to keep on going up and up. And listen, don't think that the yields can't keep going up, because look, just go into higher time frames. Like 5%, like that's not a problem. Go to the 6 month. Don't think that we can't go towards these 6s and 8s and 9s. Don't think we can't, because we can. And every time you see spikes in the yields, there's something going off. Okay? Look what was going on over here. The yields were climbing up non-stop. 2005, 2004, 2006, and then it come 2007. What was that? Subprime mortgage crisis. Everyone rushes to the bonds because they've themselves. And then everyone buys up bonds. The yields start to crash during the subprime mortgage crisis of 2007, 2008. They need the safety. Then it starts to work itself back up again. And then what do you have? COVID. Happy days. They come back down again. Everyone goes to the bonds. Now we've got the next event. Something's brewing. Something is brewing. So when the bonds get cheap enough, like, listen, guys, this is really important. Because it's going to, the cycles that you see in the yields, if you look at when they're moving up and then they start coming down, the crashes come into play. Look at this. The crash of 2017, 2018, it started to come up and then it started to roll over. And then we were dealt the smackaroo with the July, with COVID. So 2 years after, bang, and then it just shoots up again. So we're waiting for the next event. That's what I think. I believe so. That's the case with BTCC. And if anyone does use BTCC in the US, you don't need to worry about using it because you don't need a VPN or a KYC to use BTCC. But if you're going to try and exploit leverage on the NASDAQ and all stocks, because if we're calling for a crash, you can effectively do that right here with BTCC. So you've got now the Japanese index 225. You can trade the Dow Jones right there. You can trade the German markets as well. You can trade gold. You can effectively trade all sorts of stocks, Netflix. You can trade the UK FTSE. All right. So you can pretty much trade the majority of assets that we can all trade or get access to. So in other words, you can trade NASDAQ, you can trade S&P. All right. NASDAQ is Tech 100 and S&P is SPX. Now, this is good if you are hedging. If you're spot on Bitcoin through BTCC, for example, and you see volatility in the NASDAQ, you could effectively be running shorts on the NASDAQ whilst your Bitcoin position might be losing a little bit of weight on it. Okay. So go check that out. It's in the description if you want to download that. And of course, NVIDIA, you can trade NVIDIA as well. I think NVIDIA, like, given the market's taken a shoe bag to the downside today, look at NVIDIA. It's still doing fine. Like, what is that? Jesus. The thing doesn't stop. The NASDAQ and the S&P took a slump to the downside today. Where are we at with those? Right, here you go, 0.89% down. And the S&P itself is down 0.71%. Like, and then we go into the higher time frames. It looks like it's going to start breaking down. They'll be back for that green vector, without a doubt. They will be back to that green vector, without a doubt. You know? And that's the truth. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Well, for Bitcoin, what needs to happen with Bitcoin? And the sad truth is this, right? Even though we want the 100K Bitcoin, it's just so close, like 6 grand away from it, from the peak of this high here. And it still hasn't taken it, all right? And now that we've got this news about not cutting the interest rates anytime soon, that only means the dollar dominance is going to keep on climbing. And that's the issue that we've got. But what we're seeing is as dollar climbs, so does Bitcoin, all right? Pay close attention to the yen. That's all I'm saying. If you're going to start a conversation with someone about cryptocurrency and you don't start it off with what's the rates on the yields of the 10-year and the 2-year, you're going to be misinformed. Because if you want to know what $135 trillion, $140 trillion market cap is doing, why are you going to pay attention to Bitcoin with 1 trillion? How are you going to be informed in that sense? Understanding what's going on in the bonds and the yields market is going to help you understand if money is going to be coming in or not. Maybe this rally to the upside has been sustained by who? Smart money getting rid of it. Look, we're at extremes. We are bound to see a corrective move. That's not me being negative. That's me reacting to what we're seeing now. You know, this is what I'm seeing right now. Nothing's making sense when we're looking at all of this. The yields are too high for the NASDAQ to sustain itself and keep on moving up. Investors are not picking up US bonds. They want higher rates of return. That means it's costing the US even more money to pay for that debt. That's why the bonds market, the dollar is going up, because if they're not going into stocks, they're going into cash. However, what if they're on the carry trade? That means they're borrowing yen and then converting it to US dollars and effectively getting ready to load it up into the stock market again. Well, that would be consistent, yeah. But the markets are coming down and the yields are going up. So it means that some guys are borrowing yen and sitting in cash on the dollar because it's appreciating 6.8%. Well, when you've got hundreds of millions of dollars, it kind of is a little bit worth it. And especially when you've got these wonderful yields. This is not about who's right or wrong. It's interpreting what's going on. This is what money's doing. As much as we're like, yeah, Bitcoin to the moon and all that stuff, like this thing's up nearly 58%. Let's take a little bit back. You know? Let me ask you, how many of you think now Bitcoin's going to take a slump to the downside? Shoe bag waiting. How many of you believe that's going to be the case? I'd like to know. I do not hate the bull run. My brother, listen, I don't hate the bull run, man. I don't. So when I see prices rising, it means they're selling. I'm paying attention to what those guys are doing, not what retail's doing. I'm not interested in what retail does. I'm interested in what the big boys are doing, because retail will buy as prices are rising. Smart money will sell as prices are rising. That's why they're saying in articles, sell the rallies. This looks like a rally. Who cares? Doesn't matter anyway. Oh, yeah, and you've got NVIDIA earnings next week. What a joke. What a joke that's going to be. Okay, no. You know what? But okay, this is what I understand. The people that call me bearish, please type 1 if you are the person that buys when Bitcoin is climbing to the upside, as in like you're buying as prices are rising. Please type 1 if you buy as prices are rising. I really want to know. So you're buying when price is going up, okay? So example, so when Bitcoin is rising, you're buying here, okay? And you're buying here, and you're buying here as well. All right, so just type 1 if you're buying in those points. And forget the fact that you think it's already gone up. It's easy to type 1 and say, yeah, because it's gone up. I want to know if you're buying as prices are going up. 2 if you're not. You are literally all saying, you're saying 1. If you're all saying 1, that's it, man. I'm done. I am done. There's no point. There's no point. Ah, shoot. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. Please tell me you're typing 1 just for shits and giggles. Please tell me you're doing that. Don't wind me up. And tell me you're buying when price is there. Because if you are, you don't need to get slapped. You need to be medically checked out. Right? You need a proper diagnosis. You need to go to trading school and not school, go to the trading surgery and let them open up your brain and be like, what the? I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And all you guys just bang on about DCA, Bitcoin, DCA. And you're buying at these points. Yeah, that's correct. 9 breaker, there is a lot of exit liquidity. That's correct. I know they're messing with me. Or are you? That's the question. Are you really messing with me? Because I got people saying you're bearish, Tino. Man, shut up, please. I'm not bearish. I'm trying to guide you into the journey of liquidity. Why? Like, okay. Hold on. Be honest with me now. In all your time in crypto, since when did you ever consider the bonds or the yields? Be honest. Type 1 if you thought of the bonds or you made reference to them. Type 2 and be honest with yourself if you didn't. I really want to know that one, okay? Did you think about the bonds before? And the reason we never used to think about the bonds when I was doing the streams is because interest rates were zilch when we started, guys, all right? They were zero, you know? So I just really want to know. You know what? There you go. Look at you all. That's awesome. That's awesome. You're giving us the flavor there. Two. You're being honest. Fair play to you all. Fair play. Some of you are saying 1. That's fine. 3, bruv. What did I say? Bruv, please, Houdini, do not say that. All right? I'm not having any of that. 2s and 2s. All right then. 2s and 2s. So you see, that tells me that there's brains in the live. There's people that have like said that they've been honest, and fair play to you. Right? We're in very interesting times. I mean, I'm looking at everything. I'm like, what the? It baffles me. Honestly, it does. It really does. Like, when's it going to pop? Those yields should be down and the bonds should be moving up. The value of the dollar should be coming down as well. It can't be so strong. Never looked at the bill, bonds and yields till you found me. Happy days. Anyways, any other questions? Buy this low. Wow. Buy the low. Okay. Do you mean that this is a low? Because you think Bitcoin should be $480,000, so this is the low. Are you talking about buying this low right here? Look, man, listen, your Bitcoin is an ETF, right? Remember, BlackRock holds around 300,000 Bitcoin. That's more than micro strategy. Yeah. BlackRock's taken look how much time MicroStrategy has taken. Having to borrow money, offer convertible bonds, 10-to-1 stock splits, and trying to raise capital. BlackRock's like, nope, we'll take that, sir. Thank you. We got $11 trillion. We run the flipping show. And they're already at nearly over 1% of the supply of Bitcoin. Come on. If BlackRock sees that they need to start dumping this, they will. You know? Tino, why is BlackRock still buying Bitcoin then? Because they're acting on behalf of their clients. Yeah. Picking it up with someone else's money. They're just holding it. You know? Never mind. Forget the bear, man. Tino, please, can you check total crypto market cap on the weekly and tell me what you think recovered November 21st and we're pushing back down? Could that be a peak for M formation? I'm not a flipping bear, man. I'm getting vexed. Nah, I'm getting vexed. That tells me that you must be new or you just don't get it. What did you want? The weekly crypto market cap. Okay, weekly. Where are we at? The fact that this has not managed to succeed this area and close above it, if it doesn't close above it in the next week, it's dustbin. Really is. And Powell gave us the clue. I actually think, right, that if interest rates are not actually reducing inflation, okay, let's be honest now, if they're not reducing the inflation rate at the rate that they are at right now, okay, the interest, they might pull a dirty number and increase it. They could increase it, and that they can increase it. Don't get it twisted. They can switch and turn between tightening and easing cycles, guys. I've got the chart over here that proves that they can do that. 150 years, man. It's there. 100 years, sorry. You know? 108 years to be precise. I'm always compelled to look at it. I'm always compelled to look at it. What the hell? Something I never thought I'd say. Well. XRP, ladies and gentlemen. I think all that bad talk is paying off. All the people that listen to me and like, yeah, I'm getting rid of it. I'm to collect it all. Wow. Fair play to you, XRP. Never mind. It'll probably come back down tomorrow morning. So, yeah, there you go. Never mind. Depegged. Stupid ass asset. I can't stand it. I'm not interested. When it gets to a dollar, I'll probably pay attention to it. It might actually make it back into the platinum setup list. It might make it. Tino, do you think the 1.5 billion worth in liquidations at 65K can be reached with a flash crash and could still be going up? Again, I think the lower the bonds go, the harder it's going to be for Bitcoin to move up. I really do think that, because that's going to grab a lot of people's attention. The fact that the bonds are going down and the yields keep moving up, it's just going to limit the exposure that people are going to put into the marketplace. So why am I a bear? Oh, God. Never mind. Oil will go up. Okay. Tino, buy yourself some moon boots. Can you actually buy those? Well, you're on about those really thick, cushiony ones. No, thank you. I'm buying none of those. Look like you're walking like you've... Anyways, what's Bitcoin doing? Yeah. Having the day off. Even Doge is having the day off. What's Luna doing? Having the day off. HBAR, day off. BNB, day off. Solana, day off. USDT, usual routine. Behaving better than XRP. That's one thing for sure. JASMY token, sort of a day off. Comes up to come back down. Let's go and have a look at other altcoins just to put things into perspective on where we are. Who's winning? Here we go. VITE. Okay. Happy days. That's coming back down. XLM. 14 cents. Not bad. It's making a nice little break. Okay. I can deal with that. ALGO. Should be working up even more, given that XRP is moving up quite well. Beta, typical. BNB, REN token. Here we go, render. What we got? Not really doing anything, just making a bit of a move to the upside. NKN, nothing there. Alice, not really doing anything. Probably come back into the vector candle recovery region over there at 120. Going to Zen, same story. Might have a little bit more resistance to break over here at $9 to get back up towards this point. Win, never mind. RSR, same story. Don't you see the same thing? It's over and over. It's the same structure, non-stop. Altcoins, ooh. Yeah, Ava's coming back to that 62 cents. That wick is getting swept nicely. Chromium, well, okay. Sand, It's in a trending downwards, so I'd need to see another sweep lower to try and come back into the range at 29.50. ENJIN coin, here we go, sideways, not really giving me anything. Same story. Most altcoins that you're going to be looking for them to do the following: sweep the lows and then try and make the move to the upside. What else have we got? CTSI, another third hit to the downside right here, which is what I'm looking for. Right there, nice turn, sweep, come back up. FANTOM, not really doing anything. KADA, sorry. And then we got SXP. Wow. This trades really well as an altcoin, in my opinion. It's nice and moves smoothly. Comp token, right? Nothing really happening there. 1 inch, same story. Don't you see? It's all the same structures coming into play. The only thing you got to look at right now, let's have a look at CRO, see how that bad boy's done. So they did it and they gave it all back, for God's sake. Still some more flavor in CRO, but they're going to really have to hold out in this range right here. Shiba Inu, not really doing anything either. They're all doing the same thing. DOT, the same thing. Actually, will come back down a little bit more. 460 is what I'm looking at with Dogecoin. All right, it's 50-minute time frame. Theta, down massively. Super, down. And then you got ARCs. Yeah, wasting your time there. And then COTI. Yeah, back into 0.8. And that would be it, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on. What happened here? Like, really? You're going for it, yeah? You're really going for it. You really are. As if, like, we're giving the XRP the time of day on this chart. No chance. No chance. No. Anyways, looking at ETH, do you think it's wise to wait for a retest at 29.20 level? Volume and RS flip. 29.20. Only consider 29.20 if they actually break the psychological range. If they break that range, then you could consider the 29.20. But even then, you've got this region right here. So 3,000 is the next whole number that they're going to really want to try and test if they do decide to test it anyway. Gold. Gold's going to create a massive W. Bitcoin ain't done anything. If the whole market does blow, then would it be best to get into gold and silver? They're hedging it up. They're setting it up, in my opinion. Could you do your thoughts on Euro USD currently stuck in a tough position of a long? Thank you. You got to be careful running longs on Euro, man. Like, really be careful. I've projected Euro to drop from the start of the week, and it's already doing that. And you've got issues with Euro. It's... The sad thing is if the dollar dominance retains itself continuously, we could end up going towards polarity, man. Like, it's getting very, very close. It's not too far away. Granted, I don't think you'd hold on to it for that long. But we're talking a 4% drop. And over the last few days or such, you've been seeing Euro dropping 1%. You know, it's only going to take 4 days to go down if it maintains that rally to the downside. Okay. And if dollar sustains itself and keeps on going up, it's like 0.41%. You know, so just be very mindful. The dollar dominance will keep on going. If it does actually break this point, we could actually see the dollar dominance going back to 109. That is a problem for us if dollar goes to nearly 10% appreciation. So, yeah. I'm buying if I can't sell. Okay. Do you think this was the top for the NASDAQ and the S&P already, or do we get another run up to sweep the highs? When we consider how NASDAQ and S&P behave around all-time highs, you've got to look at the actual logic of what's going to lead them higher. This dude right here says we're not going to cut the interest rates. Okay, so money's going to still be a little bit expensive. Plus the chances of Trump and his tariffs and his policies could actually increase inflation. More importantly, you've also got unemployment claims coming in showing that there's less people claiming benefit. Core PPI came in higher. The inflation rate came in higher, okay? And core price index came in line with estimations at 0.3%. It's not showing a trend lower or a trend higher. It's just stuck, all right? And then you've got obviously any more tensions that could develop overseas in terms of Israel. And then, of course, Ukraine and Russia and whatever it is. It's all screaming please, inflation, go higher. That's why they're not really giving us the big rate cuts, because I think the Fed actually is believing that that inflation is going to go back up again. They're either going to pause the rates or they're going to actually increase them by a certain basis point. They increase them, that's your black swan, in my opinion. If they increase the interest rates, that's a black swan, because the debt of the US is too high. But more importantly, debt's high, your yields are too high. They need these things to go down. If this is not going down, we've got problems, big problems. Because how's the Fed going to sustain itself? It can't, well, the government. If no one's buying the bonds. Remember, Druckenmiller, he's net short 20% of his portfolio. Short on the bonds. He expects it to go down. With that being said, mad love and respect. I've kept you too long again. Please enjoy yourselves and like the stream. If you are new, subscribe. I thought, yeah, we'll call it there. Love you all. Peace. No wink, you see. I got sick and tired of calling myself a clown. All right. That was a blink. Blink. This guy.